You've seen them before. Protesters with signs, the bullhorns, and one-liner chants. It's always the same thing and always the same result. Them and their protests being totally ignored by the government. And why is that such a surprise? Those old methods are not threatening to the government because they get those types of protests all the time, almost daily. The politicians can safely sit and ignore the whole silly event. What I am suggesting is to do something different this time. Not signs, banners, bullhorns, chanting, silly t-shirts, and silly costumes will work. The police ignore, the White House ignores, hell, even the bystanders ignore. What would you do if people protested your house in that manner? Would you give in or ignore them? So it's actually no surprise you're being ignored by the government using these old tactics. You want effectiveness, right? You want to be taken serious, right? You want leverage, right? Let me give you an example of leverage. Let's say you wanted to protest a restaurant for bad service or ripping you off, or for whatever reason. Would you use signs and chants? You'd wear yourself out pretty fast and get tired and eventually go home and give up, right? But let's say you went home and developed an original game plan. Let's say you decide to rework those signs and put cockroaches and mice on them, or pictures of cockroaches and mice on your signs instead of the usual humdum slogan, restaurant unfair or bad service here written on your signs. Would this cause the restaurant customers to lose their appetites and therefore hurt the business of the restaurant? Yes. This story is just to give you an idea on how to be more effective and creative apart from the usual protest strategy. My ideal protest would be perhaps just a few thousand people. We'd start a march at a certain area and head down to the White House. So far so good. It looks like a regular protest. Then, when we got there, people would spread out into maybe a single column, just like the military. And yes, people might bring their signs, banners, and bullhorns, just like any other protest, for effect. After forming the line, they would march right up to the White House fence, drop their signs and bullhorns to be collected by someone so you don't get tagged for littering, and then form a single line and march right over to the nearest bank and stand there demanding to withdraw their money in an organized bank run. Yes, the banks hate bank runs. It's their weakness, much the same way as cockroaches and mice are a restaurant's weakness. The government is tied to the banks, so hitting them is a strike against the government at the same time. Oh no! The protesters would stand there for hours, perhaps calling the news channels while they tie up the bank with withdrawals or small deposits. All the while the bad publicity and the confidence in the banks gets destroyed with every passing hour. Their stock gets hit. Other people get worried and start dumping the stock in the bank, too. More people start doing the same thing. The news gets posted online. Millions of people view it. The protest hits the news and Wall Street. The bank executives call an emergency meeting. People stop doing business with the banks. People withdraw their money. Deposits go down, withdrawals go up. The bank executives call the police, but the police cannot do anything. It's illegal transactions being performed, and if the police arrest people for doing business at the bank, they could get sued, as well as the bank getting sued. Oh no, more bad publicity. This goes on for days without let-up as other groups get interested and join the lines. Finally, the President of the United States gets involved. He must save the banks and quell unrest. He's trying to save the economy. He has been forced to listen to people, and he just can't ignore them like he usually does. Otherwise, those bank line runs will be formed again the next day. The banks and the government are in check. This would really be a dream come true. Please go to my website, antiforeclosurearmy.com, to get more ideas and other articles that can help you to be a more effective protester. Remember, you have to go after your target's weakness. This is very important in order to gain leverage against them. Use what you have, and good luck.